What's good, superstars? Back with another Veve video. You got Superstar Joe. You got Superstar Rob in the building. How's it going, Rob?
Pretty good. You?
Had some supercharged energy in me. But guys, if you're new here, do not forget, become a superstar. Smash the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification so you know whenever we post about some Veve content. You can also become a superstar VIP, $2.99 a month. Hit the join button under the video. Get one of these stars next to your name and level up through the stars. The longer you hold on, more entries you get into the giveaways. Follow us on X, follow us on Instagram. Join the Discord. Today's video came from interactions in the Discord. We've been seeing people from different projects getting together, trying to understand one another. You're going to see a little bit about it in just a second here, but the Discord is the inspiration for today's video.
Yeah, guys, make sure you join the Discord because the Discord is the place to be. The amount of ruckus that's going on in the Discord today inspired today's video. Make sure you guys join the Discord right away. When you guys see what we're going to talk about today, you're going to want to jump in that Discord and get in the discussion. Yep. It's in the description below. And thank you to Rich. Shout out to Rich. He is running a security challenge. Week 4 is over. We're now going to week 5, which I think is just there's no weekly entries. It's just going to be just the grand prizes. But for week 4, we're going to have some gift. We're going to get some gifts going for the people. So let me just share my screen here. So Rich has told us that he has a total of I think it's 6 contestants here. Yeah, it looks like 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 7 contestants, but there's only going to be 6 prizes. So unfortunately, one person may be missing in this. So good luck to the rest of you. May the juju be with you. The first thing that we're going to gift away for Rich is a Cryptoys Common. Good luck, everyone. Let's see where we land. And oh, of course, he's a winning machine, Poppy. Winning machine. All right. Cryptoys Common number 2. Good luck, everyone. Good luck. Good luck. Let's see where we land. Looks like it's Alex. Alex and Crypto. Nice. Congrats. Cryptoys Common number 3. Where we land. It's going.
Nick.
Who's going to be Nick? Yeah, it's going to be Nick Star. Congrats. We're going to move on to the My Collectibles Drop Head. Good luck, everyone. My Collectibles Drop Head. See where we land. And it's Falcon Hoover, Omi Singh. Cryptoys.
Met up with him.
Oh, nice. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. He's from here. Cool.
I saw a picture.
Oh, cool. All right. Next is going to be the Cryptoys Rare. Good luck. Cryptoys Rare. Oh. Falcon Hoop. And then lastly, a McFarlane Yellow Lantern. Good luck.
Let's go big or go home. You get the grand prize or you get nothing.
That's it. It works. It looks like it's going to be IFM.
There you go.
There you go. Congrats, guys. Congrats. Sorry, Rami, on this one, but you still have entries into the final one, guys. It's not too late. Join the Discord. Go to security chat. Talk to Rich. Join. You could still enter to win potentially some of the grand prizes, guys. Thank you for all who have supported Rich so far. And, you know, he's giving his stuff away. Thank you, Rich, because he's giving his stuff away. He just wants you guys to be protected. So good job. Good job.
So again, today we talked about how this was inspired by our Discord. I think Rob's got the receipts pulled up here, but there was a commotion. Like I had to scroll. I was scrolling for minutes trying to get to the beginning of the conversation to try and see what was happening. I wasn't tuned in online too much today. It's been the weekend, but I caught up and I saw that we had our good friend Alan Falcon from the Disney Pinnacle team, the Dapper Labs team in the Veve chat. So this is what I'm saying. There's interwebbing happening in our Discord, and Alan is obviously of high level because he's part of that initial NFT team that brought from Dapper Labs. So I mean, we're always listening to what he has to say and understanding things a little bit through a different lens because he is part of a product team, right? So it was cool to see him jumping in the Veve chat and going back and forth, talking with people, trying to understand maybe why there's some disappointment, why there are some complaints. And the one thing that really stood out was that he just wanted to know, like, if you're so mad, why don't you just leave? Like, why are you complaining and why don't you just leave? And when we saw that, we're like, Alan, we got to let you know why people just don't leave.
Yeah. So first of all, huge shout out to Alan. I mean, we appreciate him and everything, and his interaction within our Discord. This is why I love our Discord. You have cross-breeding happening. So you have some people who have entered for specifically one project, and they've said they've now moved over to other projects because they've learned about them by talking to the people in the Discord. So yesterday we did a video about, I guess, Veve and the whole Veveverse discussion that happened thanks to Captain Era. And you know, it's a really long discussion, and it's a great discussion. If you want to join the Discord, you can get involved in the discussion. I encourage you to do so. It's in the description below. But this really sums it up. So I'm trying to understand why you're sticking around and flinging feces instead of moving on to a platform that's doing things right. But it sounds like maybe you're doing both. And this was a whole back and forth about why are you sticking around on a project you don't like and complaining? Why are you doing that? Why not just leave, move on, and go somewhere else? And there was a lot of back and forth. And, you know, I think, you know, it was just, you guys have to go read this. It's just too much to cover, but that's basically the gist of it. So we thought, okay, well, today's video, we can give a little bit of our opinion and talk about both sides. And I can understand why Alan would say that, especially someone from the outside and he was giving lots of very standard examples. You know, like if you're not happy with a certain business, why continue doing business with them, right? Or like if you don't like buying food from a certain restaurant, why do you keep going there to eat? But I don't think it's that simple in the NFT space because, you know, or if let's say you want to go to the movies, like why do you go to the movies to watch a movie you don't like? Or if you don't like that movie theater, why you keep going to that movie theater to keep watching movies? And I don't think it's that simple in the NFT space because those are businesses that you're not necessarily, let's say, you know, invested. I'm going to use the word invested, even though those are not supposed to be investments. These terms and services do say these are not supposed to be investments. But there's a lot of history to this that we have to go over. I think for someone from the outside who's just like, well, why are you using this product if you don't like it? I think you got to go way back to a number of years ago to actually truly understand why there's so many people sticking around that just choose to complain and fling feces rather than moving on to something else. Or they do move on to something else, but they don't leave and they keep flinging feces before. It's kind of funny that he phrased it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't think it's as cut and dry as it appears in that question. I think that there's a lot of laundry, I guess, people have piling up because of certain things that have happened and certain reasons why they maybe have put some decent sized amount of money into the app. I mean, and I do see that as you read through there, he notices like, okay, maybe it's because you do have some big money on the app. You're trying to get out, taking a little bit longer, but you have to stick around while you're doing that. But he's like, why don't you talk positively about it to try and sell it to me so I can buy your bags and you can get out? And then he understands too. You can see him reasoning. He's like, yeah, but I understand you don't want to kind of be manipulating and lying to people, because if you're not happy, why would you tell somebody it's good just to get out, which is obviously something that people don't want to do. But I think that's where it comes in. Like we saw him comment about yesterday's video and he said, oh, I didn't know like some of these things that happened, because maybe he's a little newer to the Veve team or Veve platform, Veve app. He's been obviously dabbling on Flow and Dapper Labs and all that. So a little bit of a separate community. Slowly starting to see a little bit of influx of those people and crossbreeding, like we mentioned in the Discord and all that. So it's cool to see that. But I think a little bit more information on maybe why people don't leave, we can touch on and maybe give a better understanding, because I think I think like his example was, I like a movie franchise, a movie series, Avatar, and new people came in and took over the franchise and they made a video and I hated it. But did I stand outside the box office telling people not to buy the tickets? And not necessarily, in my opinion, the most accurate comparison. I think that's like a one-off thing. I think it would be a little bit different if certain things were expected because you were told it was going to be the director, it was going to be this, and then like they kept doing it for different movies that came out, and every movie that came out, it was the same story or it was something different that they said was going to happen, never happened. I think at that point you might stand outside the movie theater and say, these guys are not doing what they're telling you they're going to do. I've keep buying tickets to these movies and it keeps being not what people are telling me. So like I think when you start to pile it on, that's when it starts to get to people. And I think there's a lot of things that go into it. Some people are trying to help others understand what happened in the past, but I think also they're trying to send a message to the team because people want this project to do well. People want this project to succeed, and their beliefs in the project. I think they feel tricked. Like they feel like we believed in this project. We think that this project could have been amazing. Like they wanted this was the number one thing. They were telling all their friends about it early days. They were trying to like I'm sure so many people told their friends about it, and then their friends came in. They're like, "What the heck is this? My stuff's gone down 90%. You told me this is a great thing. You told me all this stuff was coming. It never came." So like not only is the lies or the deceit or whatever from the team early on affecting that person, now it's affecting their friends, which affects that person because now they're the messenger, right? So there's lots of things that go into it that cause the anger and the frustration. So Rob, why don't you start out at the beginning?
Well, this is the thing. Now, I'm going to just first of all say I don't believe personally that this was an intentional, misdirection by the team. I think they had every intent to do this plan, but did not do the forward thinking of all the problems that can come if they did this plan. They did not come up with a plan that was actually achievable per regulations. And I think they got themselves in a bind. They said they wanted to do these things, and then they had to retract them. And things could change, but as of today, I'm not aware of what's changed when it comes to the OMI token. So the OMI token was the beginning of all this. So when Joe and I started on this project, we used this white paper as kind of the roadmap. And eventually we had an AMA with the team. They're like, guys, don't use the white paper as the roadmap anymore. However, those who did participate in the ICO, which weren't us, but there are some that bought OMI extremely early on in the project, and they bought it because they were interested in what the white paper said. And I think this is what people are really hanging their hat on, which is the token. It says the underlying economy of ecomi collect is the OMI token. The token is needed for two reasons. Firstly, the sale and purchase of digital collectibles, and secondly, access to extra features and benefits within the app, such as the Master Collectors program. Now, I'm just going to skip to this paragraph, even though this one's also relevant, but I'm going to stick to the third paragraph. Ecomi Collect users can acquire OMI tokens using a credit or debit card, or where applicable, via an in-app purchase. When via in-app purchases, the payment will seamlessly purchase an amount of OMI tokens determined by the user, and once the OMIs are acquired, they can be used to purchase digital collectibles. The process happens entirely in the background. So there was this, and then the second one just talked about it being burned and inaccessible. And I think what happened was when people saw this, they thought this is amazing because if I buy this token, I'm going to be able to, they understood this scarcity concept that people would be able to go into the app and seamlessly, and this is a 2018 white paper, right? Seamlessly buy OMI tokens, and then they can burn the OMI tokens when they do this work. It's not going to quite work like that. We know that just recently we heard a third-party app will be able to offer this OMI to NFT world, but it would be only a % of a fee that leads to that. So there was a whole kind of discussion back then about the OMI token. There was discussions about buybacks. The team was supposed to take the money from the sales to buy back the OMI token. It was structured during a time in which cryptocurrency, it was all about how can we make this coin more valuable. So that's why they brought up things like buybacks, and they brought up things like we're going to create this app for this coin, and they raised funds in order to build the app. And we don't have, it's not a publicly traded company. We don't know the amount. We personally don't know the financial specifics to that, but we do know that people are mad about some of these things that they heard about the OMI token back then. There was promises about big exchanges so that it could be available. That never happened. It was stated that it was going to happen, but it never happened. So there was a lot of history with the OMI token, which I think led to some people that Alan have met. And that's not even Veve related. That's OMI token related. But this is the early beginnings that are upset, and they would rather fling feces than just to move on to something else.
Yeah, and I think OMI and Veve, they've had similar roads when it comes to this type of thing. Expectation versus reality, I think, is a good one. If you've ever seen those memes, they show you expectation and then they show you reality. It's always something like a goofy face or something after, right? Like you expect something to be so amazing, and a reality is that it's like whatever it is. But the problem is that the expectation is not something that is necessarily drawn up by the user. I know on Disney Pinnacle, a lot of users are speculating that the pins are going to have some kind of features in the parks. That is complete user generated. Can you imagine if the Disney Pinnacle team came out, Alan, and told everybody, we're going to have pins in the park, and then they never did it, or they didn't do it, or they came out after they've sold all the pins, and then they told the fans, oh, we didn't realize that we can't do this because of regulations. This is the type of thing that's happened not once, not twice, not three times. It's happened multiple times. It's happened when it comes to airdrops. There's been airdrops that were promised, and certain snapshot times were supposed to happen, and those snapshot times came and passed, and things did not get delivered. Some people sold after the airdrop snapshot time, but that's not how a snapshot works. Like, if you sell after the snapshot, you still usually get the airdrop. Communication on all this stuff has been atrocious, completely atrocious. People are upset because of it. And the thing is, you're going to find batches of people who have been burned by different things along the way. Like, people who got burned on airdrops never went for an airdrop again, but then it happened to somebody else down the line on another airdrop. Or there's been crafting issues to the point where we showed yesterday, Mr. Madding there coming out with a post-mortem explaining what happened. The first time ever that I think we've had a situation explained in that much detail. And that probably was one of the most well-received errors in Veve history. I think that a lot of this stuff doesn't have closure. I think that people don't have closure, and that is the reason why people don't leave. People have expectations of things happening. The team has gone completely silent. They say the team is working, the team is doing this, the team is doing that, but they do not answer the questions that the community has been asking. They've called for questions. They said, oh, what questions would you like to be answered? Put it underneath this tweet. Let us know. Go in the Discord. Ask it in the feedback section. But they never give the answer. They never come out and give the closure. They never say, this is why the Veveverse was delayed 3 years. This is why OMI to NFT was delayed 3 years. Regulations, maybe that one's a little bit more simple, more cut and dry, but there's things that people do not understand. Why does beta not have a roar in the blue and beta? Like the dinosaur. People ask the question, oh, maybe it will come, maybe it won't. Like, just giving these misdirections, these kind of comments that you want to tell the person what they want to hear, at the same time not knowing if you can deliver what they want in the end. So it's been that time and time again. And people just are on that string. People have money in there. They're like, maybe it will come. Maybe it will come. They haven't said it won't come. They haven't said it's not going to happen. They haven't said that my partner statue is not going to get me into the parks. They haven't said all these certain things that people are speculating. They haven't, and then there's things that they have said that hasn't come to fruition yet, but they haven't said it's not going to happen. So like, there's all of these things that people are frustrated about, people hanging on for hope that this turns around, that the space comes back. And I think that is probably the biggest reason why people do not leave, is because the closure is not there for them to leave.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is a lot of people did put in a ton of their financial hopes and dreams into some of the NFT space, and Veve was a part of that, right? People, I mean, it's not, we wouldn't be giving enough context to Alan if we weren't saying that there were literally collectibles where people bought them for like $400 and then they sold them later for like 10,000. So it's only natural to believe that people were going to do this. Now, we did do a video on this in March of 2022 that it was titled, all your Veve collectibles are going to zero. And we did that because we knew the half-price gem market that existed seemed off. It seemed suspect. We knew that people were buying gems in what they call the black market, right, at a discount. So if one gem is $1 in app, people were buying them for 0.5, 0.3, I think 0.2 at one point. Why were people doing this? And because people were trying to cash out, and the cash out didn't exist. But then I think sometimes, and I wonder how much of that came through supposedly some credit card scandal that we don't have the details on, but we've heard that there were some exploits in which through the Apple Store that led to an excessive amount of gems entering the system. So who knows exactly what was going on? The point is, it was this closed ecosystem and gems were flying like crazy at discounts, and people were doing a whole arbitrage thing with it. And then ultimately, people really, it fueled the price increase. And ultimately, people to this day are like, well, that partner statue used to be X amount of dollars. If the team does these things that they said they were going to do, then the partner statue will go back to that. And I think that's where Veve got themselves in trouble, is where they got themselves in trouble in committing to certain things. And OMI token was one example. They've rolled out, what they think the MCP is going to be. They have tweets that MCP's 2021 doesn't come out. They've had a whole OMI utility program got scrapped. They said bronze tickets, and then it was going to be done a certain way, and now it just gets you MCP points. Like they say something and they change it. The Veveverse obviously still not here, and people choose to complain because they have invested in these collectibles and they feel like it's like up to the team basically to like deliver on these things so that their collectibles can go up in value. This is what we've observed, and this is our opinion of why people are doing this. But you know, the fact that this is investment and even though they say on their terms of service it's not an investment, it's hard to not think like it is, because there's a marketplace. There were, you know, massive OTC. I mean, maybe we shouldn't use the word OTC because it could be a touchy subject, but there were times where there was direct deals done with people who've approached the team. And now there's some, you know, discussion about that. There's concern. It was a big thing with favoritism and, like, you know, Discord mods, for example, receiving collectibles so they can then go sell them, like getting payment in collectibles. That they're worth value. That's why you're able to pay someone if they're doing you a service and you choose to give them a collectible. It's no different than kind of giving someone money, because they can go sell that collectible. The only difference is that it may not cost a lot to give a collectible, because when they go and sell it in the marketplace, they can then cash that out. And some users have complained about it draining their liquidity, right? So there's all kinds of baggage, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be missing certain things. And, you know, at some point we're going to have to talk about, like, how can Veve fix this? And I think one way to fix this, just right off the bat, is just kill the speculation. Like, we had an AMA with Reese, and Reese was just straight up like, don't expect your Marvel Mighties to be gamified. Everyone's like, they're going to be gamified. They're going to be gamified. He came right up and he's like, guys, just assume what you get right now is the best you're going to have. That was in 2022. He was in our AMA, but I don't think I've seen it explicitly stated more, you know, to the rest of the community who doesn't watch our AMAs, right? You didn't watch our AMA. You didn't hear that. So all these speculations, they should just come out right now and just say, like, this is not going to happen. This is the way it's going to be. And it could be fixed simply with just a very clear roadmap of what they're going to do, but they have to stick to it.
I think that's it. It's the trust, right? It's the trust, the closure. Again, telling people who are expecting things to come that maybe they won't come, or they are still coming. The roadmap. What are we working on? Where are we going with this? You gave a roadmap initially, so I think that's why you owe the roadmap now to the people who have spent money on the app with the expectations of that roadmap. If you don't want to give a complete roadmap or whatever, you don't want to tell people what's going to happen in the future, at least tell them the things that you've already told them, if they're happening or not still, what the plans are for that. And if things have been super delayed 3 years, 4 years, why are they super delayed 3-4 years? Like, that's where you start to build back the trust with the current user base. I believe it's so much harder to onboard a new user than it is to retain an active existing user. To me, it seems a lot easier because the person knows the product already. They understand the system and all of that. But people are going to say, like, why don't you leave? If you don't like the product, why don't you leave? And there have been many that have left. If you go back, if you rewind this space 2 years and you look at YouTube, or even Twitter, there was a space 24/7 on Twitter. There was 10, 15 videos a day that you can just go pick through the content creators, amazing people that we've met. We've had collaborations. There was a time period where we had like 40 collabs in a row, day after day after day after day. I think there might be in total 10 active content creators at this point in the space when it comes to this stuff on YouTube, at least. I think that it's complete. People have left, and good people have left, and people who really believed in the project have left. I think that's saying something. Like, why are they leaving? Some people want to stay because they want to see that roadmap out. They want to see if the team does deliver. But in the meantime, as things do not get delivered and they feel more fooled and they feel like they've been tricked, that's where the anger comes out. That's where the feces flinging comes out. And I don't know if I blame these people, because they don't get any answers. They haven't gotten any answers. There's no communication directly. There used to be so much communication that during the heyday, they would come on, they would take people's questions from the crowd. They would take people's questions, regardless of what they were, not screened. Nobody had to send in the questions ahead of time. It just felt more natural, more organic, and like they wanted to satisfy the community. Now it seems as though they just want to make sure that the business grows as a business, and maybe whatever the community wants is not as high priority as maybe it once was. That's speculation, obviously, because we haven't heard from the team directly regarding a lot of the key issues that people are upset about and why they keep complaining.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that I remember is that when they would give these very, you know, frequent, I won't call them AMAs, but just community updates and just discussions in the spaces, that they would often say things that they would later regret. And I think that's part of the reason why that they stopped doing that. You know, I remember once there was a comment made that low mints under 40 would never see the light of day. And then sure enough, people started seeing them on the marketplace. So they've just made statements in the past that I think they probably regret. And you know, as things went on with regulations, it's an evolving space. They realized that maybe they couldn't honor what they originally said. It happened a lot, like I said, with the OMI token, the buybacks, you know, all these things. So they've had no choice now but to change direction. And I think people are going to have a long memory, and they're going to realize that. I still think that people do need to still recognize that it is what it is. You know, sometimes these things, be very, very careful if you're going to treat things that really shouldn't be investments as investments. Like, ultimately, nobody made you buy anything, right? We did choose to buy these on our own decision. I don't think that absolves the team of the responsibility that if they're going to make statements and promises to sell a product, they're going to have to deliver on that. Or if they don't, people are going to have this blowback. So I can see both sides. And I think Alan's starting to see both sides of where you stand on that. But I think ultimately, as time goes on, you know, Veve is trying to deliver. They do have MCP points now in the app. They said 2021. It's here. It came a lot later. It's here, though. They talked about OMI NFT. It's being tested right now on a third party. They've changed their terms of services for third party market. They promise self custody. What version of self custody with the Ghost token? We're going to see how that looks. We'll see how their version of self custody looks. So they've made a lot of statements. The Veverse we still haven't seen, but a beta exists. You know, people are in there working it right now. So they've been very late on some of these things that they promised, but at least we know that they haven't totally abandoned them, because they are working towards building them. And for that, I think is definitely a positive sign for those currently flinging feces.
Well, I think you kind of hit it there, where if we're doing things now where we kind of see where it's come, like understandably, if you expected one thing early on and you made decisions and you put a lot of money into the app, and now you're frustrated. But at this point where we can clearly see that this is not meant to be financial gains, or we've heard from David now saying that he doesn't want collectibles to go up in value after the drop. They want to cool the market. We've seen things happen here. Anything you do now at this point, it's of your own accord. I mean, you have enough evidence here that that things may or may not be what you think they were. And I think at this point now, anything you decide to do, you gotta take a big picture, look at everything, and then keep your expectations. If you're buying something because you love it, you want to have it in your phone, you want to look at it, you want to put it in AR, you want to take pictures with it, I think that's the expectation you should have at this point. Anything beyond that, if you're speculating on any purchase that you do on this app at this point, it's on you. It's your problem, and you got to take that responsibility. Early on, maybe not all your responsibility, but now I think it's been pretty clear that things may not be the way that everybody once thought they were. So now you got to take that, and you can't blame them for anything that happens moving forward.
That's it. So guys, let us know in the comments below. Why do you think people keep flinging feces at Veve over what happened in the past? Do you guys agree? Like, why don't people leave? Like, let us know what you guys think in the comments below if you haven't already. Also, don't forget, become a superstar, smash subscribe, join the super fam, hit the bell notification every single video, every single day. Also, superstar VIP 2 in a month. Superstar game master, especially you guys. Thank you so much. Take care. See you next month. Bye bye.
Love you. Bye.